Dear graduates of the Mannheim Part-Time MBA 2020, dear Ms. Breitschuh, ladies and gentlemen, as Academic Director of the Mannheim Part-Time MBA, I would like to welcome you today to a special ceremony that, for the reasons well known to all of us, is taking place nearly a year after you completed your MBA. Notwithstanding the delay, it is an important day for all of us, dear graduates, because today we give due recognition to your academic achievements and to the 2 years of the MBA journey that you had here at our institution. You truly were a class to remember. I don't think we ever had a group of participants displaying their mutual bond in a specially designed tattoo before. We are glad to have found a date that is convenient for the majority of your class to attend in person, and it makes me immensely happy to welcome you here in this, dignified setting of the Knights Hall of the Mannheim Palace to celebrate this milestone for you, albeit in compliance with the regulations dictated by the coronavirus to safeguard our health. A big welcome, therefore, goes out to those who could not make it to the Mannheim Palace here for the ceremony, but have joined us online today, as well as to the relatives and friends who cannot be with us in the Knights Hall for safety reasons and who are attending this event via a live broadcast just a few meters away. Welcome to you all. I would also like to extend a special welcome to today's keynote speaker, Ms. Larian Breitschuh, Senior Specialist Business Development, HXM, at our close partner company, SAP. I will introduce you at greater length at the end of my brief address, Ms. Breitschuh, but first allow me to express my delight that today we welcome you, another inspiring Mannheim MBA alumna, as keynote speaker at the graduation ceremony. For there is no better proof of concept that, the fact that our alumni, not only become successful business leaders, but also maintain a close relationship with us. Thank you, dear Ms. Breitschuh, for agreeing to deliver the keynote address today. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and will introduce you more extensively at the end of my brief welcome address. Now, dear Mannheim Part-Time MBA class of 2020, congratulations on your graduation. 24 months can feel like a very long time at some points, but then again, looking back, your time here in Mannheim has passed so quickly. It was a time of learning, of personal growth, of making new friends, with 45 outstanding individuals from 13 cultural backgrounds. You have been an exceptional class in many ways. You had completed most modules before the pandemic, actually, then the pandemic forced us to move from the classroom to the virtual sphere in March 2020, and then to a hybrid format in summer 2020. And the way you adapted to those changes was admirable. You were active, open-minded, and committed on your study trips and company visits, and even organized a company visit yourselves at Porsche. In your social class project, you worked with Zwischenraum here in Mannheim, an initiative that takes care for children who are experiencing a personal crisis and risk to drop out of school. You supported them in the business strategy, marketing, legal, and fundraising areas, helped them build a children's playground and garden, and won 10,000 euro for the organization in the Mensch Miteinander competition. You showed that a group of people from many different backgrounds can make a great impact when everyone contributes their part. You did all of this on top of your jobs, private obligations, countless lectures, case studies, assignments, presentations, readings, and soft skill workshops. We know that doing a part-time MBA at Mannheim Business School is no piece of cake. We deliberately challenge you, but hopefully also encourage you to become the leaders you can be. Your individual and group performance has been impressive. So once again, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, dear graduates, as I mentioned earlier, you have completed your MBA program in difficult times. When German Chancellor Angela Merkel referred to these times as the greatest challenge since World War II in her television address at the beginning of the first lockdown, I do not think she was trivializing matters. The worldwide crisis caused by the coronavirus is alarming and will continue to be so. 1.5 years into the pandemic, we are still not fully aware of the extent of its effects on the global economy, politics, and society in general. To use a term coined by the financial industry, it is a black swan event because it came unexpectedly, was hardly predictable, and has had major effects. After all, when you started your MBA journey in September 2018, who could have guessed that we would be celebrating your graduation ceremony 1 year late and under circumstances that were inconceivable at the time? That's why I'm struggling with the popular saying that in the midst of every crisis lies opportunity. Still, I'm convinced that a great future lies ahead of you, dear graduates, despite the present situation and adverse circumstances. And I will tell you why. Just over a decade ago, the world was shaken by a severe economic crisis, following which the various national economies developed in very different ways. While some countries are still experiencing the impacts of the financial crisis, other countries recovered quite quickly. Germany was one of the latter. Many companies in Germany, both large corporations and SMEs, quickly got back on track. A large number of framework conditions and measures were surely responsible for this. Nevertheless, I remember a radio interview with Dr. Jürgen Hambrecht, back then the CEO of our close corporate partner BASF in particular. When asked how his company managed to survive the crisis relatively unscathed, he identified what he considered to be a success factor. While many competitors had introduced massive cost cuts in response to the crisis, BASF had very deliberately, significantly increased its research and development budget, an investment that was to pay off. Here I see a clear parallel to your careers, dear graduates. Although the coronavirus was unpredictable when you applied for this program, you nevertheless, just like BASF at the time, made a very conscious and wise investment in your education and personal development. which I'm sure will pay off. Because however hard times may be, business and society need smart, innovative, agile people like you right now, experts and leaders who can deal with the challenges of a VUCA environment. You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created, Albert Einstein once said. This will likely hold true throughout and following the coronavirus. We are suddenly questioning many things we took for granted for years and decades. New solutions are pushing old habits aside. These conditions create the ideal breeding ground for fresh ideas and innovations. And it is precisely in fresh ideas and innovation that the great opportunities in the midst of every crisis lie. You must take these opportunities. And you couldn't be better prepared than with your education, experience, and skills. Dear graduates, on behalf of Mannheim Business School, I would like to thank you once again for the exciting, successful, and, given the circumstances, not always easy journey we shared over the 24 months of your program. Above all, I would like to thank you for understanding that the crisis caught our institution, as others, unaware, and that we had to improvise. Of course, notwithstanding this, the fact that we came through it is largely due to the MBA staff. In the case of the Mannheim MBA, this would be our program management team, led by Dr. Nina Landauer, Director Degree Programs, and the ACO team, led by Jens Edner, Director Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. I cannot but stress that the strength of our teams lies in the fact that they take direct actions rather than just manage things. And it is precisely these qualities that were needed more than ever in the past 1.5 years. I think I speak for all present when I thank them for their tireless efforts. Dear graduates, in many ways, today marks the end of an eventful 24 months for you. Even if some elements, such as your outdoor leadership training, still lie ahead of you. While each of you surely has a different perception of this MBA program, I hope that you all have lived through an experience that you will look back on with fondness for the rest of your lives. Made new friends and valuable friends, and will forever benefit from what you have learned. I hope that you will never lack health, because as the current crisis has shown, it is the basis for everything. And of course, success and happiness, both for your professional as well as for your personal lives. For my part, I hope that your relationship with Mannheim Business School does not come to an end today, but will remain meaningful and fruitful. You are and will continue to be part of a highly effective, active, and global network, which Jens Edner will introduce in a moment. The Mannheim network provides countless opportunities to make new contacts, exchange ideas, embark on joint projects, or simply celebrate occasions. I look forward to meeting you again soon, hopefully in a time when masks and distancing will be a thing of the past. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Ms. Laurien Breitschuh. Without a doubt, Ms. Breitschuh is an outstanding personality and member of our community of Mannheimers. Before completing her part-time MBA at Mannheim Business School, Ms. Breitschuh worked mainly in human resources and management consultancy, supporting leaders and their teams in their personal and professional development. And at the beginning of 2020, she took the opportunity to bring her HR experience to SAP SuccessFactors, helping organizations deliver exceptional employee experience that create a more flexible, engaged workforce and a more resilient business. Ms. Breitschuh, on your LinkedIn profile, you say, when disruption happens, every business needs a workforce that's ready to respond. Being a Mannheimer yourself, I think you will confirm that having completed all the challenges of the Mannheim part-time MBA, these graduates here will be ready to respond and help their companies with fresh ideas and innovations to not only survive the current crisis, but also use the opportunities it may bring. Thank you very much for being part of today's graduation ceremony. The stage is yours.
So, wunderbar. Hi to all of you, and thank you first of all for this very warm welcome and for introducing me in such a length. So I might have to skip certain topics in here, but I'm very happy to be here today. And I think first of all I want to start by congratulating all of you to, well, fulfilling this big task you had ahead in the last 2 years. So all the best and congratulations first of all. Secondly, I would like to thank Jens, actually, and the Mannheim Business School for inviting me to this special event. I feel honored to be part of the MBS family and very, very lucky to speak in front of all of you today. So when Jens approached me, obviously, I agreed. But I did not only agree because of the honor I feel of standing here today, but also because of one major reason that I would like to come back to a bit later. So the nearer the date actually approached, I was definitely suffering with something that, and I hope in the last 2 years, student life did not change that much, but I was suffering from something that I would call a severe case of procrastination. So, not so much because I did not fancy the idea of preparing my speech for you, but actually I was wondering what topic I should really address and what would bring real value to such a skilled group of people that you are. And then a couple of days it actually hit me, and I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about. I think what the last year taught me, at least, is that there are way less things important in life than I thought there were. Things like spending time with my family, with my friends, I mean like face-to-face time. Things like the freedom to leave the house whenever and to go wherever I actually like. Enjoying the very tiny things like the ice cream around the corner with my favorite neighbor, or just having a lunch break with my teammates. This last year has surely been a roller coaster for you, and as I heard, you actually did pretty well in adapting to the changes. But I think it has been a roller coaster for all of us. I still remember very well the MBA time, the sleepless nights, but also the excitement to finally finish this big chapter that had started 2 years ago. And I also remember a little bit the fear, or maybe better the voice inside that asked me from time to time, is all of it really worth it? And guys, I can tell you, it totally is. On so many levels, that I would not have thought it would actually. But let's give my speech a little bit more structure and start with the most valuable thing that I took away from the MBA. So first of all, let's talk about the network. You know that people say, at least in German we say that it's all about vitamin B. I'm not really sure if it's called it's all about vitamin R in English, but B stands for Beziehung, so for relationship. And I feel that way too often this sentence is actually perceived in a pretty negative or kind of shady way when people talk about vitamin B or vitamin R. But now, look to your left and to your right. These people actually got the chance to get to know you very, very well. Your strengths and your areas of improvement that some people might call weaknesses. These people might be the ones you could turn to. Maybe not this year, maybe not now, maybe not in 2 years, but maybe in 3 years when you're applying for a job at a company where they used to work, or where they know people, or where they could introduce you to somebody important and could help you out in some kind of way. I feel like the last year taught us in a very, very special way how interlinked and dependent we are from each other actually, and from the people around us. How we need to be able to rely, to trust people that are close to us, and how we sometimes really need to provide help to others. And this just isn't any different when it comes to the professional life. When it comes to finding a job or advancing in your career. Yes, it is about skills. And yes, the MBA will simply by being a line in your CV already make you so much more interesting. Trust me, it really does. But what is really more important in the long run is actually the connections and the network that you made with the people during the time together. And it might feel a little bit weird in the beginning to approach your former classmates in a year or more and ask for a favor, for an introduction, for a recommendation. But maybe it helps to just remind yourself of the fact that there are situations where we simply need support. And that precisely is probably the beauty of being human. Asking for help in a lot of different cultures, in the German culture especially, I can say, isn't something easy to do. But maybe if all of you would give yourself and your fellow teammates sitting next left and next right to you the very official permission to approach you whenever they need help in advancing their career, that could already help. And I mean this seriously. Just speaking about it and telling, listen, if ever you need help, call me. This would help already. The second takeaway, which I feel is of high value, is the awareness regarding the areas you need to improve, the blind spots that we all have, and your strengths. Seldomly in life, you really have the chance to find yourself in such a safe bubble like the MBA actually created, where you could learn, experience, make mistakes, be the best version, and sometimes also the worst version of yourself, without really an impact, or at least with the possibility to correct. So use this. It sounds so obvious, and I'm pretty sure that you all naturally are taking away a lot of different learnings. And I can only recommend, especially for your professional growth, to recapitulate those 1 to 2 to 3 areas of improvement, blind spots that you were told by your colleagues, by a professor maybe, and really put some further work into this. Learning obviously doesn't stop here. And putting work in these areas will not only improve your career and your professional life, but it will also improve people working, the life for people that are working with you. So it's a good thing to do. So very precisely, get yourself a coach. Like honestly, get yourself a coach as soon as possible. And use the momentum, because right now you might have it so visibly in front of you, those things that people told you where you thought, okay, what is she or he talking about? And maybe it helps if you tell yourself that all successful people actually have had or have coaches at some point in their career. So why shouldn't you? The third takeaway that lies dear to me is be bold in your next career step and have your story straight on how the MBA actually fits into all of your story while changing jobs, for example. So what do I mean with this? And to explain this, and I'm very happy Professor Dr. Kraus actually already told a bit about my story, but when I was working in my former role and trying to change positions then afterwards, this was the question I was asked by every interviewer. The question on why changing now? Why my skill set that was very close to being an HR person, why is there actually a reason to now change positions when all of my strengths were lying in this area? So get this story really straight. It will help you a lot. So, I really try to give some very practical advices because I think this might help you, even though it's already a year ago, and maybe some of you already have applied and changed jobs. But I think this is very, very important. And now is the time. So when you're still thinking about when should I change positions, change now. It's a good idea to do. So coming back to what I said in the very beginning, when Jens asked me if I would be willing to talk in front of you today, I also agreed because it is important to nourish your network, to keep in touch, to be available when people ask you for support. It is so important, even when going back to our normal lives after the MBA, when stepping out of this beautiful and so exhausting bubble, to put some work into maintaining this network that you built. And though this might sound easy, you probably already realized it's actually not. Keeping in touch is just not easy. But you might need it. You might need each other. You might need that bit of vitamin B or R one day. Thank you very much for listening, and all the best to all of you.
Dear Academic Director, dear staff, honored guests, proud families and friends who see this ceremony across the courtyard in the east wing of the palace or at home, dear graduates, welcome to the 2020 Mannheim part-time graduation ceremony at the Mannheim Business School in our beautiful Knights Hall. Let me address you as the program director, together with Ruth Fieber, our program manager, with a few words. It is obvious that this is not a usual setup, and we are all aware of the fact that this is not a usual situation. It seems that the VUCA world, which for some years already is subject to many in-class discussions, has not only reached a new level, but for more than 18 months impacts each one of us rather painfully. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity have us by the short hairs. It took us almost a year to get here, to get to the ceremony we all waited for, and to get to celebrate your graduation. Although quite some time has passed already, let us still try to reflect what your graduation signifies. First, it means that you have satisfied the requirements for the academic degree. You have, and I hope you do still remember, finished your courses, presented your ideas, passed the exams, and completed the assignments. Second, your graduation accentuates also a process of personal transformation. As you sit here, eager to finally get to officially celebrate your achievements, I encourage you to reflect on how you have changed and grown during your MBA journey and thereafter. Your graduation celebrates all that you have done and become, and your readiness to have a positive impact on the organizations you will manage, lead, or maybe establish yourselves.
To prepare you for your roles, we have taught you what we call the hard skills of the discipline. You started the program with the core courses. Among these were financial accounting, marketing, corporate finance, managerial accounting, and macroeconomics. With specialization courses, such as from data to insights, customer-centric innovation, mergers and acquisitions, capital markets and investment strategies, people analytics or digital strategy, you then had the chance to dig deeper into some of the fields. Unfortunately, for the home stretch, we had to quickly adapt to the unfortunate change in circumstances. Your class met the challenge of the overnight switch from in-class to online courses head-on and demonstrated a high level of adaptability in dealing with a completely unexpected situation. The efforts put forth by the class to complete all remaining degree requirements on time are commendable, and we very much appreciate this energy. This certainly did not come from nowhere, but you have made it and you can be proud of yourselves. The program also took you out of Mannheim. We had invited you to Emory University in Atlanta. In the classroom and at company visits, you learned leadership and organizational change. Through your engagement, you made an excellent impression, and we hope that you keep your time in Atlanta in good memory. I personally enjoyed being with you on the trip. While you were always present in body and mind, and on point, both in the classroom and during company visits, you did not miss out on the fun. I am glad that you took our recommendation from the kickoff week to heart. You are the only group that I can remember that had been provided with an extra room for your parties by the hotel staff. Even when partying seemed to have been particularly strenuous on some of you, You delivered a spotless final presentation. Also, both during the study trip and during the regular program phase in Mannheim, you always looked out for each other, even for program management, and even invited students from incoming study trips to your party. You always took initiative with the desire to share experiences with your class. You organized a number of events, from barbecue restaurant visits and private parties to company visits to Porsche. Regardless of the circumstances, you challenged each other with your various perceptions of case study questions or lecturer input. At the same time, you established a strong class spirit and a friendly and cooperative atmosphere. This does not come as a surprise, as these perceptions are shaped by your previous education in a lot of different fields, from engineering to humanities and arts, and by an average of almost 5.5 years of postgraduate work experience in many industries, companies, and positions. Your various and sometimes conflicting inputs to academic and professional discussions characterize the MBA experience. Here at Mannheim Business School, the MBA experience also includes another special factor. It is a long-standing tradition to demonstrate the social commitment of our students. We therefore ask our classes to plan, organize, and implement social sustainability projects. As we have already heard, you did a great job, and I join in commending you for your commitment and engagement and the effort you put into your project. As the ultimate academic culmination point of your journey, we ask you to apply all the hard skills and soft skills acquired to actual business problems. In your second program year, you worked as teams on the projects you had created or acquired. You had to show whether you were able to apply your skills in the hard business reality. Overall, we had 9 projects, all acquired or designed by you. Your project partners included big corporates, but smaller startups as well. Some of you even worked on their own business plan. Finding academic supervisors for your projects had been a pleasure because of the exciting nature of your ideas. All of you mastered a challenging project phase, culminating in your final presentations last year in August. You have presented yourself as excellent ambassadors of our school, and we thank the corporate partners and academic supervisors for their support in these projects.
Educating and teaching MBAs is probably one of the biggest challenges in higher education. MBAs often want to make changes in their managerial careers and seek new inputs and come with a lot of expectations. It requires a particular skill to teach and interact with them. Nowadays, this is particularly true as for teaching and interacting, we had to leave our familiar surroundings and break new grounds in the virtual world. Therefore, I would like to thank all individuals that were involved in teaching our participants. First and foremost, these are the professors that deliver into our programs. We thank them all. Their efforts are appreciated and highly valued. Please let me extend my thanks also to the guest speakers who brought the corporate world into our classroom, as well as to the companies that opened their doors for us. I also like to thank the class representatives of your class for interfacing with us in the management of the program. We were fortunate to have Molly, Derek, and Manuel, who were very engaged and did a great job of advocating for and communicating on behalf of the class. Thank you for all your hard work and your active involvement. I have to admit that thinking back to all these early morning coffee meetings is a strange thing to do after so many months of lockdowns and online-only interactions, but I kept them in good memory. Speaking of feedback, your time at MBS has been characterized by quite some feedback loops between the class and the school. You can be sure that with your valuable feedback, you have left a lasting footprint in the school and its processes, and of course in the Mannheim MBA program. I would also like to join Florian Kraus and send out a very special thank you to the team that made it all possible. That is the program management team, the career development team, as well as admissions, IT, and all the people that work hard behind the scenes but are crucial for running such a program. Dear graduates, I know all of you made considerable sacrifices in time, effort, and money to receive your MBAs. But your studies truly have been a team effort. In the classroom, in learning teams, and off campus where spouses, parents, relatives, and friends have supported you to cross the finish line. Of course, the lion's share of that credit goes to you, dear graduates. Let me truly congratulate you on all your achievements. Be proud of yourselves, and it goes without saying, we are proud of you. Thank you. And with this, we would like to call on stage Carolyn and Patrick, who will give the traditional graduating students speech and reflect on this intense but also exciting time on behalf of the class.
Welcome, part-time 2020 class, and congratulations to, well, us all. Welcome to all of you in here, to all of you watching from your screens at home, to all of our loved ones, be they next door or far away in front of their computers. If finishing our MBA successfully is like hiking up a mountain, then today it is my great pleasure to take a misty-eyed look back down the long and winding road that we climbed in the last 2, or rather 3 years. But we did not set out on this journey alone. All of us had people, friends, family around us that supported us through the years, and now is the time to give thanks. Thank you to Ruth, Astrid, Nina, Kerstin, and program management in general who organized this whole journey. You were with us at every stage of our uphill climb, through the good times when all was well, and the bad times when we complained about basically everything. You quite literally brought us water when we were thirsty, coffee when we were tired, cookies when we were hungry, and booze when we all needed to cut loose a little bit. Rarely have I seen people who were so uncompromisingly good-natured, helpful, and kind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our instructors and coaches for teaching us valuable lessons, be they academic or otherwise, for pushing us up this mountain inch by inch, meter by meter. It was them who equipped us with a knowledge of business processes, finance, innovation, and many other things. It was also them who told us interesting stories about Project Star Wars, how they single-handedly defeated the Soviet Union and brought communism to an end. very capable. Thank you to Career Development for organizing company visits and workshops, for taking us on interesting excursions along the path up our personal mountain. Thank you to our class representatives, Derek Koserud, Manuel Pusterhofer, and Molly Levenson-Kröber. And I really hope your husband knows that that's not how the Americans say it, for championing our cause, for being our voice for reasonable and outrageous requests alike. And, at least to me, for being willing to have the aforementioned 8 a.m. coffee meetings with program management. Thank you to our parents, to our families who are always in our corner. We wouldn't be here and we couldn't have done it without your unquestioning and relentless support. To say it in the word of the Syracuse Math department after finishing one's PhD, Mom, Dad, we did the thing. Thank you to the friends who cheered us up this mountain, for many a meal or drink that was silently brought into our rooms in the final stages of yet another homework assignment, for being there and supporting us during the times we were just sick of working through yet another weekend. Thank you to our partners that had to deal with us dedicating a significant portion of our free time to, well, not them. You had to deal with us being stressed out by homework or in a foul mood because we came back from a week of MBA classes tired and exhausted, or just really hungover. Thank you to Professor Wüstemann for making this graduation possible by finally grading our financial accounting assignments. And thank you to all others that I have not listed explicitly, but were there nonetheless with us through this entire time. Our uphill expedition started on a sunny day in September 2018 on the Ehrenhof when the MBS said, "Come together." It was the first time our hiking group got together, and what a group that was, or rather still is. I was told beforehand, I believe it was by Ruth or maybe by Antje, I'm not too sure who did my interviews, to expect diversity. And that promise the MBS certainly delivered. People from all walks of life, be they hospitality experts, saleswomen, experts for knitting techniques, IT developers or project managers. The spectrum was vast. It immediately reminded me of what one of my professors had told me when I started teaching in Syracuse. He said, "Patrick, teaching these students is like the Grand Canyon. Everyone tells you they're one way. And then, but you don't properly visualize it. Just like when people go see the Grand Canyon and everyone tells them it's huge. And then people go there and they look at it and they turn around and say, why didn't you tell me it was so huge? That's how I felt about how different and unique everyone in our class was and is. Together, despite and because of our differences, we wrote our own story of this hike that so many had undertaken before us. Together, we learned that the road up Mount MBA was frequently best traveled late at night, in packs of 4 to 5 people, often with heated and intense discussions, and mostly finished with slick-looking presentations. Together, we forged the bonds of respect and friendship in the fires of Mount Doom. Lord of the Rings reference, check, that one was for you, Christoph. Correct would be in the fires of tight deadlines and differences of opinion. Friendships I cherish to this day and I wouldn't want to miss for the world. Together, we tested the limits of how many announcements, reminders, questionnaires, or polls program management was willing to send out to get everyone to respond to their inquiries. Together, we learned that some professors cared so much for their students' well-being that they brought pizza to a movie theater in the middle of the night for a Super Bowl viewing party. You know who you are. Together, we experienced the weird and strange events that arose during the MBA. To this day, I still disbelievingly chuckle when I think about the fact that one teaching assistant commented one of my homework assignments with, "I do not think you understand mathematics." But don't worry, I have his name. Together, we pushed through the sometimes grueling experience that was the Business Master Project. 1 year of literature review, team and client alignments, focus group interviews, and finally a write-up that stretched our personal bonds to their limits. Yes, Aliyah, I'm looking at you. And yes, you were right. And so we finally reached the summit of Mount MBA with a little help from our friends, only to discover that yet another hill, yet another journey awaited. Or as the musical Hamilton puts it, life is an endless uphill climb. But that is a story that Caroline will tell. I wish all of you and all of the involved parties from the business school only the best for your futures. I'm looking forward to when we meet again in 5 or even 10 years or tonight to see where our personal roads have taken us. I am thankful and glad that this part of our road we got to walk together. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you everyone that made this day possible. And indeed, Patrick, if there is something I know by living in Switzerland, it's about hills and mountains. Look how beautiful is this place. I remember the first time being here on a Wednesday morning in June of 2017, just as an ordinary tourist, buying a ticket for visiting the Schloss, admiring this beautiful place and imagining all the history behind those walls. I certainly haven't thought about an MBA back then, but when I was actually exactly in this room, I remember looking up and thinking to myself, how amazing would it be to present here one day? And here we are. We couldn't miss this moment. It's not the graduation we expected, it's 1 year later than planned, and even we have some watching us remotely. And by the way, guys, we miss you here very much. But this is an important ceremony. It's the official representation of the accomplishment of our MBA. Graduation means to step towards something, and this is exactly what we are living right now. Closing this chapter means a start of a new era of our lives. And for many, it might be the last time we go through a formal way of education. There is so much uncertainty in the world right now, and the idea of a new normal, it's not supposed to put the pieces back together, but to have a deeper reflection on the true selves and what we want to achieve in life. Finding out what's genuinely meaningful and leaving all distractions behind. To make sure you have a fulfilling life and potentially with less. The key to succeed in both professional and private lives in achieving mindfulness in the middle of our daily overwhelming routines. The cliché of life balance has shown its most adverse parts during the lockdown. Smart time management will be the success factor, even to be able to spend time with our MBA colleagues in the future. We should not lose the MBA state of mind of reaching out to someone when you need, or just to making sure that the others are doing well.
Remember at the beginning of every module how excited we were to meet everyone again? We are able to get this feeling back, and we must keep it alive. Whenever I face a challenge in life or at work, which I feel anxious or not confident enough, I think about the feeling of safety I had in our class, where we can be ourselves and without the fear of being judged or taken as a fool. All points of view were valid, and we listened with respect. And that always gave me confidence, because we had the freedom to fail. We have a powerful connection here, which should last forever. Nowhere else in the world you will experience something like that. A place where you meet such a diverse team with one common goal and willing to open for each other. As humans, we tend to naturally get closer to the ones we have more affinity. And we all found out the go-to person for related to specific topics. But the interesting part here is that we kept this collective mindset. And that's exactly what brought us so close together. The bottom line here is, whatever affects one of us will indirectly affect us all. We all go through similar struggles, so don't be too proud and do not hesitate to look for a hand to hold. What we will all need on the way forward is resilience, and we might deviate from all our original plans, but we can help each other, making life easier. Each one carry one important piece of the MBA for life, and I am sure it will be different for each of you. Whatever the reason, keep it alive and make sure that this legacy stays as long as possible. Legacy that we are now part of in our lives, the Mannheim University and the experienced professors. We had the pleasure to get to know brilliant professors who played a central role in our experience and that are now part of our network for life. We also had the luck of having a very attentive program management, finding solutions, organizing this program for us. Thank you for your leadership. And there I see a very important lesson that the MBS team taught us. You never lost the human touch while having to adapt to the new reality. Thank you for taking so much care of us. When you feel distant and not connected to MBS anymore, remember why you started. The fresh feeling of applying or even growing the thoughts of doing an MBA were so abstract, and at sudden, we are all here, with all the ups and downs. The start of a new process is magical, but seeing the result, it's even more satisfying. And all we have here is pure goodwill. If I would wish you to leave today keeping one piece of advice, it would be, do not stop reinventing yourself. We are millennials, and we know how things change and evolve faster than any other generation experienced so far. What we have seen in different modules was just a teaser of what's out there. A world of new opportunities is just one step of us. Besides being a good player, we are all leaders, and that comes with a responsibility for others. We will have to deal with different styles, and we might not like all of them. But diversity is what will make your team a great one. So make sure to know what's the best of each contributor and try to understand what drives each person. This is something we learned with our MBA experience, and I hope it can help us facing interpersonal challenges. Finally, pick your fight. Where do you want to contribute to the world? Is it education? Is it climate changes or health? Pick your purpose, which is bigger than yourself, and embrace it somehow as part of your life. Like putting a man on the moon kind of mission, it requires so many passionate people. And we learned here that nothing can be achieved alone. You will always need someone to help you. No one is complete and capable of everything, and accepting your limitations will make it easier for you to identify whose help you want on the road. If you haven't yet, start today. You have the freedom to fail, because we will be here to help you climbing up that hill again. Thank you for the great memories, class of 2020.
Thank you so much, dear Caroline, dear Patrick, for sharing these wonderful words and memories and insights from the past years. And you seem to be a very special class, and it's a honor for me to be here today and to hear these wonderful words that you also said. Now comes the time for all of you to receive your diplomas. When I call your name, please join us on the stage to receive your diploma and have your picture taken. Please don't forget to keep the distance with the Professor Kraus. With that, I would like to welcome to the stage Kirsten Baumeister. Alexander Beckmann. Patrick Biermann. Lukas Breil. Yannick Breiner. Benito Campos. Maike Vielenbach. Charlotte Freien-Halsdorf von Enderndorf. Daniel Oliver Goschko Lanzitel. Hisprecht Jakobus Maria Habraken. Caroline Meta-Lisa Karen Herrscher. Moritz Hellbach. Alia Chodza. Christoph Kämmerer. Saribe Karapetyan. Moritz Kompenhans. Meng Liu. Kiran Mulpuru. Caroline Pachulia Palhares de Andrade. Julio Alejandro Rojas Paez. Benjamin Ahim Schneider. Mike Schock. Giuliano Silio. Guarav Sinha. And Alexander Usselmann. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Mannheim Business School, I'm proud and honored to congratulate and present the Mannheim MBA class 2020. Congratulations again to all of you.
always the one to pull this down at the end. Dear ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, dear Lauren, dear graduates of the Mannheim Part-Time MBA class of 2020, dear alumni of Mannheim Business School. Under circumstances that nobody could have foreseen, all of you have worked extremely hard to reach this milestone in your professional careers, and it's so good to see you tonight. So graduates, first and foremost, let me join the previous speakers in congratulating you on your achievement. As the Director of the Alumni Relations and Career Development Office, I'm also honored to officially welcome you to the MBS alumni community. However, that's not that big of a difference since you joined the community almost 3 years ago. You have joined a global network of more than 3,800, close to 4,000 highly successful professionals, and no matter where life takes you on your journey, you will always be Mannheimers. I encourage you to stay connected with your classmates. Obviously, I do not think that this will be a problem. Your professors, your alma mater, and us, Mannheim. Leverage the network we offer, not only within your class, but also within the full network, as it has proven to be a continuing source of professional and personal support as all Mannheimers move forward in their careers and in their lives. So make sure to join us for various opportunities, such as, for example, the upcoming Network Club events or the virtual summer party in a few weeks, where we'll be virtually in this room, however not in person, so this will be cool. And when I look back on our time together so far, you've definitely earned a place in the history of this institution. I must first commend you. You have taken advantage of the opportunities we offered, and you have integrated extremely well into the existing network. I'm thinking, for example, of the various Meet a Mannheimer sessions that we did, the network clubs, the startup podcast that you have pushed, which is awesome. And I also remember specifically one dinner in Neustadt that has become or has a legendary status within the institution. We went there recently for dinner, and no, we're not banned from the location. Your class in particular stands out for being exemplary networkers, so stay on it. However, and keep in mind how you can make this network even more vibrant and how you can contribute. Spread the word about our institution and our MBA and other programs so that the next generation of Mannheimers will be just as amazing as you guys are. Share what you have experienced so far in Mannheim with others and show them how great it is to be part of this community. Share career opportunities or business opportunities with the network via us. Make your company one of our corporate partners if you would like. Organize an event in your city or region, or become a speaker and share your knowledge in one of our network clubs. To be strong, a network needs engaged and active members. Only together we can grow and add further value to the Mannheim family. So once again, congratulations, a warm welcome to the alumni community, and I really look forward to seeing you soon and often and hopefully in presence. Thank you guys very much. And I'm afraid so concludes the graduation ceremony. I would now like to invite all graduates, staff, to join us downstairs for champagne reception. This is the fun part. Graduates, while the orchestra plays the recessional, please exit through the doors and down the stairs to the left. You will have your class photo taken at the bottom of the stairs. Dear staff, after the graduates have left, please exit through the doors and down the stairs to the right. You will join the graduates downstairs for the reception. Once again, congratulations and see you all downstairs.